Is it wrong to want power? Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you will be criticized anyway. You'll be damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Eleanor Roosevelt. Wise words. But whether Eleanor had a positive impact on the world is questionable at best. Eleanor was born into the prominent Roosevelt family, before marrying her father's fifth cousin, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and being given away at the wedding by her uncle, the president at the time, Teddy Roosevelt. Among her achievements, Eleanor helped push the United States into and was the first U.S. representative of the United Nations. The UN has been one of the centralizing forces that has increased the power of the global elite. Whether or not she honestly thought she was doing good is not really relevant. The really self-righteous ones who truly think that they know what is best for you might be the worst tyrants of all. They are so sure that they can tell you how to live your life properly that they will stop at nothing to force you to their will, for your own good. Edward Bernays, the father of the modern elite I've discussed at length, thought people were animals who must be tamed, too stupid to know what was best for them. His belief was that an invisible government of successful men was right to exert their influence over society for the greater good. But when given the opportunity, Bernays took advantage of the vulnerable for his own gain. For example, when he sold cigarettes to women in the name of empowerment. Hypocritically, he still preached an ethical code. In his book, Propaganda, Bernays quotes from an article in Scientific American, explaining that, "Truth is mighty and must prevail, and if any body of men believe that they have discovered a valuable truth, it is not merely their privilege but their duty to disseminate that truth. If they realize, as they quickly must, that this spreading of truth can be done upon a large scale and effectively only by organized effort, they will make use of the press and the platform as the best means to give it wide circulation. Propaganda becomes vicious and reprehensive only when its authors consciously and deliberately disseminate what they know to be lies, or when they aim at effects which they know to be prejudicial to the common good." This is absolutely true. If you have good ideas, good products, or important truths to share with the world, you should do so in a systematic way most likely to yield results. The fact that bad people will also use these means only strengthens the point. If good people don't use proper marketing tactics to spread their ideas, they leave a vacuum of power, gladly filled by the psychopaths. That's why people should accept that it is okay to become an elite, the invisible government, as Bernays puts it. You should spread your influence based on what you feel to be right. Like Eleanor, some people will simply be wrong about what they think is right, but at least there will be competition, instead of abdicating power to the likes of the Roosevelts and their ilk intruding on your life. That doesn't mean becoming the monster you're fighting. It means diluting their power by taking back the power over your own life. The attitude of the elite is that only certain people should have access to power, and we see what they've done with it. Don't forget about the glimpse that Jeffrey Epstein gave us into the world of the elite. The Clintons, Trump, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, and so many other powerful people had no problem associating with a child sex trafficker after he already spent time in prison for sexually abusing underage girls in 2005. Frankly, it's hard to imagine worse people taking control. Surely, some of the new elite will also abuse their power. The difference is that there will be alternatives. It won't be choosing between Harvey Weinstein's casting couch or nothing. We are democratizing power. We are creating a marketplace for an ethical elite. We've seen what a handful of elite do with their power in secret. Let's see what the masses do with it in the open. I think we'll find that they are naturally restrained, their worst impulses checked by the power of others. That's the point of spreading power. At worst, you have stalemates. At best, people realize mutual benefit is the easiest way to gain power. There was a time when only the rich elites could afford to feed themselves. The answer wasn't to take their food. When the USSR tried that, less food was produced, and everyone except the elites starved. The answer was to increase the supply of food so everyone could get enough to eat. Poor people didn't have to redistribute wealth. They just had to create more of it. So it is with power. Power, like food, is not a zero-sum game. You can grow more food and you can create more power. Everyone should have enough power so that they are not forced by circumstances to bend the knee. Elites could once hold food over peasants' heads to make them comply. It is harder to tempt a well-fed man, and it is harder to exploit a man with options. I certainly hope you'll use your power for good, but that is really none of my concern. I wish prosperity on all, knowing that some will use their prosperity to exploit the vulnerable. Yet the goal here is that no one be vulnerable. I want everyone to have the power to resist exploiters. But controlling your own outcome also often means controlling others' outcomes. Think about this. When everyone was on the brink of starvation, if you managed to grow extra food, you might feel guilty for wanting something in exchange. You might feel like you were exploiting your neighbors by asking for something in return for the food. And yet, you were providing them life-sustaining food. That is a great gift, whatever they are asked to give in return. The alternative is never growing it in the first place. Then, you can't be accused of exploiting the hungry, but they will stay hungry. For the same reason, people feel strange trading in power and status. At first, it feels strange, for instance, providing jobs and being the boss. It goes against everything we have drilled into our heads since elementary school. In this day, people are demonized for providing jobs, building businesses, and making money. The last thing you should ever do is apologize for success. Instead, you should double down and become more powerful, powerful enough to compete with the current elite. It all comes down to providing value, and some of the biggest value you can provide is giving the vulnerable an alternative to the scum elite the masses are currently forced to deal with. You can only do that if you are powerful enough to provide for others, jobs, goods, services. Becoming elite could not possibly be unethical if you are providing someone a better option than they currently have available. To be powerful, the elite need to keep people dependent on them. Therefore, by providing alternatives to the current elite, we grow powerful instead. The easiest path for regular people to become elite in this day and age will be through mutual benefit. The elite have squeezed everything they can out of their tactics. They have forced people to distrust every institution and second-guess every fact they hear. This presents tremendous opportunity for the honest man. He who gains the trust and never loses or abuses that trust is at a tremendous advantage.
Subscribe below for more content like this. This is actually an excerpt from a longer report. If you want to read that or listen to it right now, follow the link below. Thanks for watching.